Well, good evening, everyone. Why? I don't know why it's so dark. Why is it so dark in here? If that's really too dark, guys, let me know. For some reason, it just seems a lot darker than normal. I don't know. Anyway, I hope everyone's having a good evening. Thanks for joining me this evening as we talk about Web3, gaming, and mass adoption. Um, you know, kind of before we get started, let's just give a second for people to kind of hop in. I'm going to try to change the color scheme up a little bit, see if we can't get this a little bit brighter. That might be a little bit too much, but not bad. Let's try red, see if that works too. Ooh, that's radical. Let's do that instead. Be like, Anyway, just kidding. Is this better? A little red. Bottle of red, bottle of white, right? You know that song? Let's see here. It's a little too... There, let's try that. Let's give that a look and see how that goes. So, yeah, man, nice to see you. Oh, man. So, it's Tuesday night, and I've decided I'm going to be doing my live streams Monday through Thursday. That's going to be our live streams. And that's the way it is. That's the bottom line, right? So we're going to be doing Monday through Thursdays. I'm not going to do Fridays, obviously. I'm not going to do Sundays anymore. The weekends, sort of like, we can always do a catch-up. We can do a checkup from the neck up on Mondays. So we're going to do Mondays through Thursdays from now on for our live stream. So I hope when you're watching this, I hope you're having a great evening. And I'm glad you're here. And we are going to dive into Web3 gaming and mass adoption. And so we're going to talk about just a variety of different things. Don't be afraid to ask questions, to post your comments, to click on the link and join our Telegram. If you're watching from Facebook or, you're coming in from YouTube or wherever you're coming in, thank you for being here. So let's kind of dive in. So first we need to kind of talk a little bit about, and this is for those who may not know, like Web 2, Web 3, what is the difference? Because it can get a little confusing if you're not sure. So Web 3 basically, and I'm just going to keep it very simple. Web 3 is where obviously Web 2, like for instance, like if you want to call it the internet, right? Web 1, you only could read. That's all you could do. There's no interaction. You just typed in something and you read it, and that's really all there was to it. Then we had Web 2, which now is you can read and write. Okay, you had a little bit more interaction, fill out forms, do all kinds of different things. We are now at a place where we are Web 3, where now we are at a high state of interaction. We can read, we can write, we can interact in various ways, and especially bringing crypto into the mix, and blockchain technology really, sets us above where we were like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, right? When the web first came out in the mid 90s or something like that. I remember there was you could type in certain things and then that was it. But it was like, wow, this was really cool. And as you got more advanced, it became cooler. Now we're at a place where it's like our technology is just skyrocketed from where it was. So, Web3 gaming. So that's basically we're utilizing blockchain technology, and which enables us to do a variety of different things. Now, in Web3 gaming, there's what's called a play to earn, okay? Or pay to earn, however you want to look at it, play to own, whatever. That's kind of the way I look at it. So you're in a position now where you can actually earn and keep assets, digital assets, monetary things, stuff like that. You're in a position where you can actually where you can do that now, whereas in the past you couldn't. Now, Web 2 gaming, which is more of like your PlayStations, your Xboxes, right? Your Call of Duties, Modern Warfare, all that kind of stuff. That's basically like Web 2. more of a traditional gaming, paradigm. We are now in a place where we have evolved so much that our technology has grown faster, I think, than we're able. It's like back in the Civil War days. In Civil War, time of the Civil War, the technology was ahead of the tactics. That's why there was just so much bloodshed and so many people lost, is because we still kept on to that colonial Revolutionary War tactics, as opposed to, these massive cannons and all these different weaponry that, there was tremendous amount of loss of life because the technology hadn't progressed faster than the military tactics. I'm kind of a Civil War, history buff. I don't want to say historian, but, I'm really into that era. And a lot of times they would charge a position all mashed up. And because the firepower was so advanced, people would get decimated because of that. So we're at a point now where technology has gone maybe ahead of where we are in way of creating Web3 games that are going to feel like Web 2, like your Calls of Duty, your Modern Warfare, your Uncharted, all these different games that we know and love, whatever your favorite games are. And by the way, whatever your favorite traditional games are, put them in the comments section in the chat. See if there's any of those that are mine too. But, those games are awesome, and they're just amazing. And so right now, there's this big push over the past few years, 2 to 3 years, of really creating these Web3 games with an economy where you can earn digital assets and keep those assets. Now, maybe that's crypto, maybe that's NFTs, whatever it ends up being, okay? But the unfortunate thing is, most of those games, one, kind of suck, and they're supposed to suck. It's like, before you're good at anything, there's a saying I used to teach. If it's worth doing, it's worth doing right. Okay? And then there's another part of it where it's like I say, if it's worth doing poorly until you can learn to do it right. That's where I think we are when it comes to the Web3 space. When it comes to Web3 gaming, that is where I think we are. We are at a place now where the majority of the games that are out now are not very good. And again, if you disagree with me, please let me know, right? If you have a game that you really like, sorry, my phone just went off. Can't believe it. Anyway, let me know, kind of what your favorite game is. But my point being is that most Web3 games right now still have probably a few more years of refining and developing and things like that before they become amazing. And there's some good games out there, and there's a lot of new projects going out. But the thing is, and again, we're having a discussion. This is just my point of view, one man's perspective. If you have your own, I respect the heck out of that, and I want to hear what your opinion is. But I think a lot of the Web3 games right now, they need more time, because the average creation from start to finish, creation time for a traditional game is 5 years? 3, 4, 5 years? Something along those lines, to get a game out has the look and the sound. For instance, one of my old school favorite games was Doom. You may look back at it now and go, oh man, that's kind of sort of antiquated, but I tell you what, you play that game with a good set of headphones on in the dark, that game it does the job, at least for me anyway. It gives you that ambiance, it gives you that atmosphere of creepiness, right? Now, I think that, I'm just going to adjust my camera a little bit, guys. Now, I think that we are going to get there, and we're getting closer. I still haven't seen a game that I would really spend hours playing right now. Now, granted, I have not spent a whole lot of time looking and researching tons of games. If you have your favorite Web3 game that you love, you think is awesome, put it in there. Now, I do a lot of videos about Gala Games. A lot. Perhaps too much. Okay? I love the platform. I think it's got tons of potential. Oh, by the way, those of you who play Meow Match, which is a mobile game from Ember Games, that of course we all know, following Gala, that they've acquired Ember Games in the beginning of the year. They've acquired, Champions Arena and Dragon Strike and Meow Match. They actually gave away a $100 value box, and I received it. So basically, what it is if you have Meow Match, which is a match 3 game, on your phone, you link it to your Gala account. You will get, or if you're an existing, I've had mine linked for a long time. I've been playing that well before anything else. Then what will happen is you will receive a box of basically $100 value worth of stuff. Like you'll get 10 bombs, you'll get 10 balls of yarn. You'll get like 8,300, or is it 83? Or 83,000 coins. I mean, it's just a ton of stuff that you have. That's really cool, and it's free. So if you have Meow Match, link it to your Gala account, and you will receive that. Or if you already have, such as myself, I saw it today, and I got mine probably about an hour or two ago. You'll get that for free. So that's kind of a cool thing. So anyway. Now that's a fun game. That's a fun noodling out. You've got 10 or 15 minutes. You're in between appointments. You're waiting for a call. You're taking a 10-minute break. You're just chilling out a little bit. So you're decompress. I use that to decompress. I only play the game to decompress. And it's maybe 15, 20 minutes at a shot max. So that's a fun game. That's not a game that I could take it or leave it. I still haven't found a game that I really sink my teeth in and go, oh man, I'm in trouble. I'm going to be spending hours, after all my work is done, the family's asleep, I'm going to go in the living room or go in my office and put in whatever game it is. It's been a long time since I've had a game where I felt I could do that. And those games are more like the PlayStations or the Xbox games. So I think that we are going to have games in the next 2 years or so that are going to be just killer. I think that there's still room to develop. And there's room for everybody. I mean, you've got PlayStation. Like I have a PlayStation and an Xbox. Well, that's not true. The PlayStation I got kind of died. The HDMI port sucked out. So that's a real bummer. But anyway, there's certain games on Xbox I really enjoy. There's certain games on PlayStation I enjoy. I just kind of mix and match. I haven't, and there hasn't really been any games out there, one, that are developed enough from a standpoint of user experience. And that's a thing too. We have to look at when we're playing a Web3 game, are we playing these games for fun? Are we playing them to earn assets? What is our purpose? Because let's say, for example, a gambling game. All right, let's say, for example, Poker Go. Poker Go play. Fun game, noodle out, free, whatever. Or just in general, let's just say you're sitting down with a group of friends and you're playing for matchsticks or whatever the hell it is. I don't know. You're going to be maybe playing differently than you would if there was actually money on the table. If there was actual money on the table, I bet you anything else, that how you would play a hand would be different than how you would play it if there was nothing riding on it. Because now you're not necessarily playing for fun, you're playing to earn. You're playing to win money as opposed to, I don't give a crap if I lose it, I lose it. It's just a friggin' matchstick or whatever. Who cares? So that's where we have to decide, well, do we want games? One, first off, games I think should be fun for the most part. I mean, primarily games need to be fun. If you agree, give me a thumbs up. Let me know. When we have games that are fun, we're going to want to play them more. There's nothing wrong. You're just playing it for pure enjoyment. Okay? And in that case, you want a game that maybe has a good storyline, the graphics are rock solid, you know, it's not glitchy, the user interface is radical. I mean, you know, you play like an Xbox game or a PlayStation game, something happens, the joystick shakes, right? You get, it's like an immersion experience to a degree, to a small degree, okay? Now, when we're playing to own something or to win something, assets, then it becomes maybe kind of like a job. So I can see that if you're in like a third world country somewhere, right, you're sitting down, your job is playing 8 or 9 hours these games or you're earning whatever kind of assets it is because that is food on the table, right? That's a roof over your head. That's clothes on your back. So I think the psychology is different. But I think overall in general, and guys, let me know if you agree or disagree, games need to be fun. They need to be enjoyable. They need to make sense. And they need to kind of set that tone. They don't need to be like, you know, metaverse games or anything like that. They just need to be good quality games where the visuals make sense. It's not glitchy. I think we're not there yet. And I've seen games and I've experienced games where the trailers look badass. And then you get to play the game and it's like, what is this? This isn't even anywhere near. It's like, for instance, if you have a mobile game on your phone and you see the ads come up for whatever it is. Excuse me, guys. I may or may not have to sneeze. I don't know. Okay, I'm back. You guys, I tell you what, you guys are rock stars because I'm over here sneezing, I cough, and I'm yawning. You're like, what is the deal with him? Anyway, where was I? Oh, yeah. But when you go on one of these games and the trailers come up for these other games, they look great, right? And then you get the game and you're like, it's boring. There's really nothing to it. So what needs to happen is the trailers need to, or the games need to match up for what the trailers are, because then it's just kind of a bait and switch. Then it's just like clickbait. Oh, wow, this looks really cool. And then you click on the game, you're like, this is just whatever. So I think there's some things that need to happen to make these Web3 games like really rock solid. I believe it's going to happen. And again, I want your thoughts and your opinions as well in regards to where we're headed, because I think with those things being said, if you have fun games that are, you know, a lot of fun, they're enjoyable, people, you know, whether you're earning or not, if you're able to earn assets, great. If you're playing to own, even better. If you have that combination of the two, if you have those, in addition to an easy point of entry, reducing the barriers to be able to play the game. Because some of these games, you have to go in, you have to download the launcher, then you have to set up the account, then you have to download the game, you got to install the game, you got to make sure your account's linked. I mean, you've got 4 or 5 different steps that you have to do just to be able to play the game. Then you have to figure out how to play the game, because most of them, as far as I've seen, There's no tutorials, there's no guides, there's nothing to give you an idea of what you're supposed to do. Those things, I think, once they get solved, will help mass adoption. But until then, I think that's an issue. NFTs. How much are the NFTs? And then when you get the NFTs, you got to mint them. So now you got to go ahead and do that. If you are new to crypto and you're new to blockchain gaming and Web3 gaming, and you have no idea, that is going to be so frustrating. You're just going to like, screw it. I'm just going to go back to my Call of Duty. Right? So those are some things to really consider, to think about when we're talking about mass adoption. Yeah, thanks, John. I'm not sure how glitchy it is, but anyway, so that's kind of my thoughts on that when we're coming to the Web3 gaming space. Now, there's tons of gaming companies out there, and I think there's going to be tons of amazing games. And again, Gala is not the only game platform on the earth. They are not. They are an excellent one. They've got lots of potential. They're doing a lot of really cool things, but they are not the only gaming platform out there, my friends. So when you are considering investing in a Web3 gaming token, look around, check. Do your research, do your due diligence, right? Sandbox was huge when it first came, the Central Land, right? Gala. What else? You have Star Atlas, who's having some issues, and I hope they get their stuff settled. Axie Infinity is another one. So there is a variety and there's tons of other gaming platforms out there that you can be a part of. And you've even got Poker Go Play now, which is attached to Gala. You've got mobile gaming, which is smart, and they have Eternal Paradox, and that's actually a game I'm looking forward to getting that operational, because I think that game is going to be phenomenal. And if they can get like Miranda's and Grit and Walking Dead Empires, and they can get these games out there, and they can make them fun and easy and accessible to people, and whether you earn or not, I think it would be nice to be able to do that with a low point of entry where you don't have to spend any money to get involved, or very little, and you have maybe the opportunity to win in-game assets. I think that's a huge deal. I think that's a really important step, is being able to have it accessible to the masses, not just for like, okay, if I come in and I'm playing a game, it's an open world game, I'm coming in, I haven't invested any money, I've just got what I got, and I'm playing against someone or with someone who has bought $2,000 to $3,000 worth of NFTs, and they've got guns and all this kind of stuff. I think they need to make a, maybe if possible, I don't even know if it's even possible, like a game where you are, like if you are coming in and you're just playing, well, that's one world. If you have digital assets, then you have another world, because that way you're not going to cross-pollinate, and you're not going to smoke the poor person who came in who's got nothing, who's just, maybe they got to pick it up as they go. They've got to find these assets. It'd be cool to have assets that you can find that maybe are rare, and I'm sure they probably do, that you don't have to pay X amount, because someone like me is not going to spend money on a digital asset for an in-game asset. There's no way I'm doing it. $100, $10, $1. I've never done that, because that's when you're getting involved. Now you're probably saying, well, at least with the Xbox games or whatever, you pay once and then you play for everything, but you don't own the assets. Well, I understand that, but I'm okay with that because I'm buying the game. I can play however I understand that. Now, if you're going into a Web3 game and you understand, hey, you don't have to buy, and that's a good thing. You don't have to buy the NFTs. You don't have to do this. You don't have to do that. And you go in with that mindset. Well, then hey, that's also going to be on you too because then But I think trying to keep it so it's fair, where people can actually play with or without spending lots of money for NFTs. That's just my view. That's just my thoughts. So does anyone have any comments or anything that they want to share or any questions that you have in regards to this? And again, this is just me talking out loud about Web3 gaming. Now, do I think eventually it'll surpass Web 2? I do. I think in my rough idea, between 5 to 7, 10 years, I think blockchain games will take over. It's the next evolution of gaming. Okay? Then you get into the metaverse games where, like, if you're playing, say, the Walking Dead Empires, you have a VR headset, now you're in that world and you're playing. Now that would be awesome. Like, imagine, like, taking one room have like a game room. Just like, all it is just an open space. You can have certain things set up, you can interact. That would be cool, right? And I think that's going to happen. So I'm just kind of going off a little bit about where we are with Web3 and gaming and that sort of stuff. So does anyone have any questions for me? Anyone who's here? The two people that are here. And thank you. John, I'm not sure if you're here and you hit that like button. So, a lot of when I'm going on to these live streams, as I said before, it's more about education. And I'm going to mix things up as we go, but, that's kind of where we are. So does anyone have any questions? Anyone disagree? Anyone have any other projects they want to talk about? Or, we can go off on a different tangent. Because I could talk about this all night long, guys. So I'm not sure how much of a lag there is. So I'm just going to give it a second. Oh, by the way, if you are watching, don't forget. Okay, cool. Thanks, John. So, John, what do you think? What's your thoughts about Web3 gaming and mass adoption? What do you think it's going to take to get us to that point where Web3 gaming is going to be just like, and I'm not even talking necessarily about the next bull site, I'm talking about the games itself. Do you have any thoughts on that, my friend? Again, I'm not sure how much lag time we have. Oh, cool. We have a few more people here. Very nice. So thank you for joining us. Okay, fair enough. I do think that, how can I put this? I think that it's also a good idea to explore, and I'm going to be creating some videos that are going to explore different gaming platforms just to expose us to a variety of different opportunities. Because again, like I said before, yes, we can invest in Gala, absolutely, but don't forget it's really important to think about diversification of our portfolio, where we're not just focusing on one crypto project. So where there may be 2 or 3, or maybe there's only 2. Unless you want Gala, then keep it. That's totally fine too. But I'm going to be exploring a variety of different games in this field, and hopefully I can try to get some people from the developmental team or some engineers or some gamers to actually come on, and eventually I want to maybe take some games and do some live streaming where I'm actually playing the game for you guys. I think that would be kind of a next level thing. So that's going to be coming fairly soon, probably the next month or two. I'm going to start doing that. So just keep your eyes peeled. But I'm going to be putting out, well, this one's not really so much a Web3 game. It's another project. But keep your eyes peeled, because in the next day or two, I'm going to be having another video out. I think you guys are going to really like that. I think you're going to really like it. It's going to be really cool. So anyway, guys, I just wanted to come on and share a little bit about my kind of views about Web3 gaming. I'm very bullish on it. I think it's going to be an amazing... Dude, you've been sneaking around there, man. All right, so I'm going to click on this because I want people to see, because I'm like, what is going on? Okay, so let's do this. Oh, there we go. Why is that there so high? Good grief. Put this down here. Whoa, small. Okay. I need to expand my screen a little bit, guys. Alright, so, what in the world? Alright, get a few more games locked in, a good real play to earn system, yeah. Mass adoption, yeah. So, and that's the thing. So again, getting games that are good, that are quality, are going to be really important. And then having people talk about those games. And yeah, spreading the word. But I think also you need a marketing strategy, and not just go on like YouTubers, live streaming the games. There needs to be a way to market these games also. That's a really good important point. When you're talking about mass adoption of anything, there needs to be mass education. There needs to be mass advertising about it. And I'm not saying it has to be tons of money. Back in the old days, right, when I used to advertise for my martial arts schools, I used to have my staff. I'd create like 400 or 500 flyers, and we'd go to a shopping mall, or we'd go to wherever, and we would just put these flyers everywhere. Put them up on community bulletin boards. Say, okay, everyone, we've got 150 flyers. We've got 200, 300 flyers. We're going to put them on, lift up the windshield wiper, put them on it, and then move on to the next until they're all gone. We're going to meet back here in 45 minutes or whatever for lunch or something. That's kind of how we used to do it, but it was like a way, and it didn't cost the most it cost was to print. 20, 30, 40, 50 bucks. Big deal. I got a student out of it. It was small potatoes. So advertising these games are going to be important. Now, right now, no one has money. All right? No one, at least that's what I'm thinking anyway, no one really has a ton of expendable money that they could just throw away on advertising. But the trick is, and plus, a lot of the games aren't quite fully developed yet. So that's another area, right? Like you said, these games have to be developed. They've got to be rock solid. There can't be any glitches. They've got to be seamless. They got to be easy, right? And depending on the type of game you put, there's so much opportunity, right, for Web3 games right now. It's just a matter of getting some games that are playable. And I'm not talking just Gala. I'm talking about the Web3 space anyway, because when we hit the next bull cycle, everything, the rising tide lifts all boats. Big gaming, unless your games are really bad, if you got a decent game, you're probably going to do well because everything rides off Bitcoin and Ethereum. Bitcoin's number one, Ethereum's number two. Bitcoin comes up, it brings everybody else up with it, regardless, unless your project is just a total disaster, in which case you're going to be dead in the water. You're not going to last. And I think the games, the projects that survive this to the next bull cycle, that's when we're going to find out what games are going to stand the test of time. Because right now everyone's just building right now, doing play tests and tweaking this and tweaking that. But when it's go time and these games launch, the cream always rises to the top. So whatever games are going to be the best ones are going to be the one that stay up there, okay, that are going to survive. And again, who knows what that is? I don't even want to speculate on that, because I also think as the years go by, we're going to see a lot of phenomenal games coming out. And everyone's going to be competing. I'm sorry. All right? Oh, crypto, we're one big happy family. I'm telling you right now, game developers, they want their games to be the best. And they're going to make, yeah, it's okay, I'll share my secrets with these guys over here at Axie. Or, the Gala folks are going to share theirs with, Sandlot. Or no, Sandlot, I knew it. Sandbox. No, they're not. Everyone wants to have the best possible games they can. And there can be, it's not like Highlander, there could be only one. No, there could be many. Like, look, there's Xbox and PlayStation. And they each have, amazing games. I think there's room for everybody in this space, but you better come ready. You better have a good quality product, or else you're not going to last. So that's kind of my thoughts on it. So, Bob, I'm glad you put that out there, man. I'm really glad you said that, because that was something that was really important, is the advertising part of it. See, when you guys jump on and you interact, it's so much better. It'd be so much better if you guys join my free Telegram channel. The link is at the very top of the chat. So go click on that. It's not hard to do. Click on it if you have it and join the channel. It's free. So, there you go. Does anyone have any other questions or anything they want to share? So remember, Monday through Thursday. Now I'm thinking one of these days this week, and I don't know which, guys, I'm going to have a 4 o'clock live stream, and I'll do my 7:31. I want to just see from a standpoint of time how that looks like. So just be prepared. Whatever day it'll be the next couple of days. So it'll either be tomorrow or Thursday is when I will do a 4 o'clock, or maybe even sooner, live stream. But then I'll do my 7:30. So don't worry about that. So if you guys don't worry about that. So if you guys, I'll still have it for you. But so hey everybody, great job. If you have any opinions on Web3 gaming, or what games you think are going to be the best, please make sure you put it, if you're watching this, put it in the comments section. And remember, if you are watching this after the fact, put in Dojo Fam. DOJOFAM lets me know that you are watching ahead of time. And guys, thank you so much for coming on. Click on Telegram. Join me over there. I want you guys to have a great evening. And remember, here at the Crypto Dojo, crypto never sleeps. I'll talk to you guys soon, guys. Thanks.